Welcome friends. So we are discussing interrelationship between two-port network parameters. So in this session we shall start discussion in continuation with the previous session. So now we shall be doing transmission parameters. So we have T parameters in terms of parameters. So let me first write down the T parameter first. V1 is equal to A V2 plus B I2. I1 is equal to C V2 plus D I2. So now let us first establish the relationship between Z parameters, the ABCD parameter with respect to Z parameters. So what is Z parameters? V1 that is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2 and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So let them mark by equation 7. Check. Sorry, 9, 10. Equation 9 and equation 10. Equation 9 and this is as equation 10. Therefore, from equation 10 we can write I1 is equal to 1 by Z21 into V1 rather V2 minus Z22 by Z21 into I2. So I1 is equal to V2 by 1 by V2 by Z21, that is perfect, and with a minus sign Z22 by Z21 into I2. Yeah. So this is the first equation or helping equation to understand the first conversion. Okay. So if you compare, it must be C, and it must be D. Now if you from equation 9 if you substitute I1, so V1 is equal to Z11 into, now I1 you are substituting this value, so I1 is equal to 1 by Z21 into V2 minus Z22 by Z21 into I2 plus the rest part Z12 into I2. So if you simplify, then it will be V1 is equal to, first term will be Z11 by Z21 into V2 A, and second part it will be should be 2-1, not 1-1. It should be 2-1, Z22 by 2-1. So this is V2. Then we have minus Z11 Z22 minus Z12 Z21 divided by Z21 that multiplied with I2. So this is our another equation. So if you compare, it must be B. So if you compare, first you will get A is equal to Z11 by Z21. B is equal to minus delta Z by Z11. C is equal to 1 by Z21. And we have finally D is equal to minus Z22 by Z21. So this is the final representation of T parameters in terms of Z parameters. Let us move on to our next part, that is so we have y parameters. Now we need to represent as a function of y parameters. So let me write down I1 is equal to y11 v1 plus y12 v2, I2 is equal to y21 v1 plus y22 v2. This is equation 11, equation 12. So from equation 12, we get what we get? We get V1 is equal to 1 by y21 into I2 minus y22 by y21 into V2. So this is our first equation. So if you compare, it must be A and this must be B. Now from equation 11, you get I1 is equal to y11. Now if substitute V1 is equal to this, so 1 by y21 into I2 minus y22 by y21 into V2 plus the rest remaining part y1 to V2. So if you simplify, I1 becomes, the first part will be V2. Let us take V2 at one side. So it will be minus y11 y22 minus y12 y21 divided by y21 into V2, and therefore next part y11 by y21 into I2. So if you compare, it must be C and this must be D. So A is equal to, therefore A is equal to V1 is equal to A V2. So it must be minus y22 divided by y21 then V1 is equal to AV2 plus BI2. Therefore, B is equal to 1 by Y21. Next equation, I1 is equal to CV2. So therefore, C is equal to delta Y divided by Y21 with a negative sign. So delta Y is this, Y11, Y22 minus Y12, Y21. And finally, D is equal to Y11 by Y21. So this is the relationship, or rather you can say it is the representation of transmission parameter in terms of Y parameters. Next, we have left hybrid parameter in terms of Y parameter. So we write down the first equation. V1 is equal to H11I1 plus H12V2 and is equal to H21I1 plus H22V2. So this is equation number 13, I think. Yeah, equation number 13. This is equation number 14. So from equation 13 we get I1 is equal to 1 by H11 V1 minus H12 by H11. This is our first equation. Now if you compare, this must be C, because I1 is equal to C. Sorry, it is we are representing in sorry, this is actually we are representing in terms of hybrid parameter, right? So it is not the correct thing. So from equation 14, you need to consider equation 14. You need to consider equation 14. So from equation 14, we must write I1 is equal to 1 by H21 into I2 minus H22 by H21 into, this is our first equation. So if you compare, I1 is equal to CV2, so this must be C, and plus DI2, so this must be D. With this we can get, using equation 13, we get what we can get. V1 is equal to H11. Now you substitute I1 is equal to this value, 1 by H21 I2 minus H22 by H21 V2 plus H12 V2. So if you simplify, V1 is equal to, so first calculate V2 part, so it will be minus H11 H22 minus H12 H21 divided by H21. So this is first thing, into V2 plus H11 by H21 into I2. So this is our second helping equation, from which we can understand, if you compare So this must be, V1 is equal to A V2. So this must be A, and B I2. So this must be B. So if you compare with this, so your A must be is equal to minus delta H by H21. What is delta H? Delta H is equal to this H11 H22 minus H12 H21. B is equal to H11 H21. C is equal to minus H22 H21, and D is equal to 1 by H21. So this is the representation of transmission parameter in terms of hybrid parameter. Finally, we have left with the hybrid parameters. So let us move on to that part. So H parameter in terms of other parameters. So first, let me write down the equations for H parameter. So V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. Now first we have Z parameters. So what is the equation for Z parameter? V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. So let me mark this equation as equation number 15 and equation number 16. Equation number 15 and equation number 16. So we need to represent hybrid parameter. So let me check which one I should take. Let us first consider equation 16. From equation 16 we get I2 is equal to 1 by Z22 into V2 minus Z21 divided by Z22 into I1. So if you now compare, see, I2 is equal to H21 I1, so this must be H21, and H22 V2, so this must be H22. So from 15, so therefore from equation 15 we get V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 into, now what is I2? I2 is 1 by Z22 V2 minus Z21 by Z22 I1. Or simplifying, we get V1 is equal to Z11 Z22 minus Z12 into Z21 divided by Z22 into I1 plus Z12 by Z22 into V2. So this is another equation which can depicts the relationship. So you see V1 is equal to H11 I1. So this must be H11 and plus H12 V2. So this must be H12. So therefore we can write the interrelationship between H parameter and Z parameter. H11 is equal to delta Z by Z22, which where delta Z is this Z11 Z22 minus Z12 into Z21. H12 is this Z12 by Z22. H21 is this minus Z21 divided by Z22, and finally we have Z22 that will be equal to 1 by Z22. So that is the first representation of hybrid parameter in terms of Z parameter. So now let us moving on to our next relation, that is hybrid parameter in terms of Y parameters. Hybrid parameters in terms of Y parameters. So what is the equation for Y parameters? It is I1 is equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2, and then we have I2 is equal to Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. So let me mark these equations as 15 and 16. Equation no, 15 and 16 no, equation 17 and equation 18. So let me consider equation 17 first. Equation 17, from equation 17 we can write V1 is equal to 1 by Y11 into I1 minus Y12 by Y11 into V2. So if you compare, you can understand V1 is equal to H11 I1, that means it must be H11 plus H12 V2. So this must be H22. So from equation 18 we can write, please substitute the value of V1 in equation 17. So I1 is equal to Y11. Now what is V1? V1 is this 1 by it should be equation 18. It should be equation 18. So from equation 18 it should be I2 is equal to Y21 into V1. So V1 is this 1 by Y11 into I1 minus Y12 by Y11 into V2 plus Y22 V2. So therefore I2 is equal to in the denominator we have Y11 Y11 by Y21 into I1 minus Y11 Y22 minus Y12 Y21 divided by Y11 into V2. So if you compare, I2 is equal to H21 I1, so that means it must be H21 and this should be H22. So what are the relationship? So H11 must be 1 by Y11, H12 must be minus of Y12 by Y11, H21 must be Y21 by Y11, and delta Y divided by Y11, where delta Y is this Y11 Y22 minus Y12 Y21. So let us moving to our last relation, that is ABCD parameter in terms of hybrid parameter. So let us write down the equation. V1 is equal to A V2 plus B I2, I1 is equal to C V2 plus D I2. So this is equation number 19. This is equation number 20. So let me consider from equation 19. From equation 19, what we can write? No, it should be equation 20. It should be from equation 20. We can write I2, that should be is equal to 1 by D into I1 minus C by D into V2. So if you compare, it must be H11 because H21. I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So it must be H22. From equation 19, can have V1 is equal to A V2 plus V into I2. So you need to substitute I2 is this 1 by D I1 minus C by D V2, or V1 is equal to AD minus BC by D into V2 plus B by D I1. So if you compare, so finally you will get our final result. So V1 is equal to H11 I1, so it must be H11 and H12 V2. So therefore H11 is equal to B by D, H12 AD minus BC by D, H21 is equal to 1 by D, H22 is equal to minus C by D. So this is the our relation of hybrid parameter in terms of ABCD parameter. So this is the this is the total representation presented, Z parameters in terms of Y parameters. It is represented here. The derivation has been done just now or previously. Again, Z parameters in terms of T parameters, transmission parameters. So this is the relationship. And we have also derived the Z parameters in terms of hybrid parameter. Right. So in this way we have solved or we have derived all the possible relationship amongst any two parameters, between any two parameters. So with this I am ending this part. From the next session we shall discuss more topics of we shall discuss on more topics of two-port networks. Thank you.